relentless, don't wanna test us. We ball hard, wanna run with the best, you gon' learn.
Welcome to the Relentless Podcast. I'm Darnell Haney, head coach at the great Jacksonville University, home of the Relentless women's basketball program. I'm joined by the OG Kenny Brooks, head coach at Virginia Tech, my brother Terrell Robinson, head coach at North Carolina A&T, my brother Ron Hughey, head coach at the University of Houston, and today we're joined by another OG in the game, triple OG, I might add, in his 12th season at Hampton University, 232 wins in 11 seasons, 6 MEAC championships. 2010, 2014, he won 5 straight MEAC championships. Coach of the Year in the MEAC numerous occasions. The man, the myth, the legend, David Six. Fellas, how we doing?
How you doing?
Oh, man.
Bless.
Oh,
yeah.
Good. All right, so Coach Six, question for you, and we're just gonna start this thing off with you a little bit. All right. You've had tremendous success in this game, not only at the college level, but you started out as a high school coach. And I have a vested interest in your story because you started out coaching high school boys and high school girls like I did. How was the shift? And then tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, I was at Hampton High School for 14 years. I had a lot of success in high school. I started Boo Williams' 15 and under elite program because up until that time we didn't have one. And I had some great kids. I had some of Kenny's kids on that team, some great kids, Toya Gidgets, and some other kids, and did very well and got the opportunity. I always knew Kenny. I should bring my teams to his camps. I knew Terrell when he was at VCU, and always wanted to get in the coaching ranks, but never did it. And got a call from Hampton one day and said, "Hey, we looking to go in another direction. Would you be interested in being our interim coach?" And came on board, and I loved it. And like you said, been here. This is my 12th season, and around here, that's I'm a fossil around here. I'll tell you that right now. You don't stay long here. I'm telling you, not especially not 12 seasons.
Yeah.
But been here 12 seasons, happy with it. Looking forward to getting back playing, and also just looking forward to going back up against Terrell. He's coming in the Big South.
No.
And so hey, it's not a lot of us in the Big South, I'm trying to tell you.
That's true. That's
right?
true.
So
that's true.
Looking forward to that, but that's kind of my journey. Got to the college ranks, what I would say late, but I did get here, and I'm happy that I got it.
Awesome. You talk a little bit about the Big South. You guys went in the Big South 2 years ago, and Coach Robinson, you guys are headed in there. What do you see as some of the biggest differences in your MEAC time and these past 2 years in the Big South, as far as style of play, teams, and stuff like that?
Well, the MEAC is more of well, at least when I was in there, more of an up and down, more of an athletic league. In the Big South, you're going to see various styles. Like Ronnie Fisher at Campbell, he don't care if he scored 30 points. So he's going to try to take the air out the ball and slow it down. You got the high points that run the Florida Gulf Coast stuff. So you're going to see different types of styles. And your kids going to have to be prepared for that every night. You're not going to just be able to go up and down, press, and run the gun. You're going to see a myriad of different styles in the Big South as opposed to the MEAC.
Got you. Coach Brooks, in our workouts, we've been talking and harping on offensive spacing and on the offensive end. And then on the defensive end, we've been talking about taking space away, right? Talk a little bit about your thoughts on offensive spacing and how you incorporate that spacing in your program, how you teach it.
Offensive spacing for us in our system is a must, necessity, a must. We harp on it. We harp on it quite a bit. At the very beginning, especially with the young kids, We'll even go back old school. We'll put X's on the floor. All right, here, this is where you need to be. Spacing is very important. As I mentioned before, in our system, especially with the kids we have now, we've got a kid on the inside who's going to be a monster for us. She was Rookie of the Year in the ACC, 6'6", and so she needs space to operate. And if we don't have that proper spacing, there's a lot of double teams going on. So we harp on it quite a bit, and we'll make sure they understand where they need to be, what they need to do. We don't let it slide. If they're too close, we'll stop it in the middle of a play, even if it's a successful play, and let them know, hey, you got to have spacing. You got to have spacing. And it's something that you need to drill, because if they feel like they can get away with it, how sometimes I call it beehive basketball. They all want to run to the ball. You got to stay. You got to stay in your spacing. It gives everyone else the opportunity to operate successfully. But that's something that we talk about quite a bit. We'll talk about it in October, November, December, January, February, March. We just got to make sure we got good spacing.
Got you. Coach Rob, talk a little bit about that on both ends for you.
All right, but first let me tell you a David Six story, right? So you know how you had them legendary scrimmages, man. You know what I'm saying? You whip somebody's ass. Oh, can I say that? You whip somebody's butt, and nobody hears about it. But it's so this is Six's first year, right? He comes down to VCU.
Mm-hmm.
They whip our ass, right?
Mm-hmm.
This dude texts me. He's like, so, what do you think? How you think we'll be, going into the MEAC? I'm like, I think y'all gonna be pretty damn good, coach. You don't have to worry about that. But he is always, in terms of just trying to get better and wanting to be critiqued. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what makes him, this type of successful person that he's been, to this point. And coming in, when I came in and got my opportunity here. I tell a lot of people I don't have mentors. I have people that I call motivators. You know what I'm saying? The Ron Hugheys, the Kenny Brooks, the David Six. When I'm walking in, I want 6 championships. I want 5 in a row. And it's been, and I at one point when I came in, and I'm gonna ask you a question, but I'm on.
Go ahead,
Six
man.
right
Do
now.
your thing. Do your thing.
It was one of those things, and me and Six have had this conversation because he was strictly about his business. I'm like, man, this dude don't want to shake hands. This dude don't want to, he just, look, he trying to get that damn dub. Kenny, you shaking my head. You played against him. Yeah. So he just focused on the, and then when you get him outside of it, you figure out, this is a down to earth dude. He's just really passionate about, obviously, these young people and having the type of success that he has had, but yeah, his first scrimmage tore us up at VCU. And I think we were probably picked to finish high in the CAA, and we had some pretty good players, but he reached out, what do you think? Shit, Six, y'all gonna be all right. Yeah. Y'all gonna be okay, but
appreciate that, man.
Nah, no doubt, man, no doubt. So your question about spacing, me being a defensive minded coach, bad spacing obviously helps the defense. You know what I'm saying? And it is important, kids talk about wanting to play free. Well, hell, have spacing so you can play free. You know what I'm saying? And like what Kenny said, when we are bare basics offensively, that's what we work on, creating that space and then playing off of each other. Because I feel like that's the best way to play basketball, where you're reacting and not just playing sets. And I know that's what Hughey is all about. You know what I'm saying? So, spacing, the best teams offensively, they have that. Their kids have that understanding. And for a defensive-minded coach like me, bad spacing just helps us. We talk to our young women when we talk about not letting one person guard two. That's bad spacing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's very important. It's very important.
Hey, D, if I can add one more thing too, when you have spacing, you got to have players, the right players.
No question.
If you can be spaced out all you want, but
that's what I was getting ready to say.
You can't shoot.
Oh yeah, you can't shoot it.
You
never had no space.
You can put them up in the stand. They can shoot. They're not going to be guarded. So
be sitting in that damn paint, waiting for the rebound.
Come on.
No, let me tell y'all this real quick. I scrimmaged when Keith Brown was at Georgetown. I went up there, and I used to go up there with Boo when I coached at AAU, and Pop Thompson, he'd be sitting there. He still got a chair sitting in there. Still got an office at Georgetown. All right. So he called everybody boy. So when I saw him, he said, "Hey, boy, I ain't seen you in a long time." And I said, "What's up, Pop?" He said, "Boy, you know what make good coaches?" I thought he was going to give me some words of wisdom. I said, "What, Pop?" You said good players.
No question.
You said good players, just like Kenny said. You ain't got no good players, you ain't gonna be no good coach.
No question. No question. Coach Hughey, talk to us a little bit about you. You guys everything is predicated off spacing for you guys offensively. Talk a little bit about that.
Exactly. It's like Kenny said, except for we painted ours on the floor. We paint the X's on the floor. We paint the drop box on the floor for the dribble drive. We paint the read zone. We paint the help line. I mean, you come and look in our gym, it's blue paint all over it. And so when we do every breakdown drill for shooting or defense, you at one of those spots. Your foot is on one of those spots. And so that's how we determine the good spacing. So it's painted on. You know, Kelvin Sampson pulled me one day and he said, "You're putting this tape down every day. I think we need to just go ahead and paint this thing." And so we did that, and we've been doing it ever since. But it's the first thing we talk to the kids about, you know, the proper spacing. I went over and watched Mike Davis practice when he was at TSU, and just watching the kids cut hard, getting to a spot and having their hands ready, and nobody's passing them the ball. They running 5-on-0 without a basketball. So they're faking, I'm passing it, I got your screen right here, I'm coming. All this with no ball, getting to their spot, sitting there with their hand, and Mike say, "Next 5, let's go." My first time ever seeing it done that way. And man, I was blown away ever since. And so that's how we start out with our kids now. No basketball, understanding. So if I say we're going pitch kick, they know the progression we're going, where they need to be, who's getting what, who should have their hands ready, all this kind of stuff. And they have to get to one of those spots, man. And those two guys just changed my whole outlook on spacing.
Wow. Coach Six, talk a little bit about spacing with you guys. And you can talk about, and I was hoping that you might have wanted to touch on this too, Rob, or any of you guys, defensively, right? How you want to take space away, where you want to make sure that they don't have a big gap to drive through or whatever the case may be. So Coach Six, go ahead and talk about a little bit about spacing in your program and what your philosophy is on that.
Well, I think all of it's like a food chain. I think that you got to have proper spacing. You got to have hard cuts, but you got to know how to create space too. You know, if the ball is supposed to go a certain place and you can't relieve the pressure in your face because you don't have good footwork and you don't know how to create space, you know, it's the same thing. So I try to teach our kids, you know, European kids are great with footwork. You know, they play soccer and things like that. So we try to introduce our kids to their feet and tell them, hey, there's a lot of ways to relieve pressure. Like he said, 5-on-0, you got to cut hard. You know, you even in practice, because if you're not cutting hard in practice, you're not going to cut hard in the game. But you also got to be able to create some space so that you know what you're doing with the ball, so that you can read and react to what's going on. Defensively, I try to have 5 people swarming to that ball. So I'm gonna rotate to the ball. All right, I'm not. You know, a lot of people believe one pass away you in deny, one pass away I'm in the gap, because there's a lot of good point guards out there, and you're gonna have a long night some nights if you hugged on your man and that. But so we try to pressure the ball. Once it gets to a side, we trying to rotate to that side and keep it on that side. We trying to deny anything off of ball reversal that will come back to you or whatever. Once you get on that side, we want to keep it over there.
I think the spacing peeps, and I was watching the Portland game the other night, and Damian Lillard go for 61. He's shooting it from the bleachers, whatever the case may be. And, you know, everybody tweets about it and everybody talks about how good, you know, spacing is in the NBA and the WNBA. But a lot of people, they need to realize that the reason why that space is there is because those kids, like those people like Coach Brooks was talking about, they'll make you pay. They got players that's gonna make you pay if you helping too much, or if you in the wrong position and they get an open shot, they're gonna hit it. Right. So I think spacing is predicated, like you guys were talking about. I really believe spacing is predicated on people that can make shots.
Pick your poison.
You know, like, and we play some teams that, you know, we might try to pack it in tonight, but if they hit shots, you're gonna have to spread out, go guard them. So now you want to spread out and go guard us. Now they're gonna drive you. You know what I mean? So like you said, Coach Six, is pick your poison. And I think shooting, and I don't know about you guys, I think being able to shoot the ball is the great
talent. Talent.
I think it is, but I think it's
skill.
It's a skill if you make it.
No question. Making, not shooting. Making. All right. Well,
that's too early. My bad.
Man, you good.
No, but to talk about the defense that you was talking about, we're kind of like Six. We're all our Bob Huggins, man. You know, we're up the line, on the line. We want to force 20 back doors. We want to get in the gap. You know, we tell our players every day, ask to the ball. You know, but the first thing that has to happen in the program is you got to put fire on the ball. So the person guarding the ball, you got to be able to guard the ball. And it's the number one thing in the program. You can't do that. Your time is already limited.
No question.
I don't care how many points you can score, whatever the case may be, but you got to be able to hold your own with fire on the ball. And everybody else is in their 1/3 gap. I got that from Shaka Smart, just being over to the ball. And I know I watched studied some of the pack line stuff, and everybody's doing pack and sliding in with their chest to the ball and recovering out. But those direct passes get you beat, in my experience, man. I mean, especially y'all know when you play UConn and people like that, man, you can't give them. And then they used to wear us out. So we started going 1/3, and that ball got to go over and under us. Now we had an opportunity and a chance. And your kids start to feed off of that and start to grow. But that's where it starts with us. You got to fire that ball up first to disrupt all of it. Then we can get into our gaps and be able to take away, you know, some of that offensive spacing that people want to be able to use.
Gotcha.
Hey, D, I'm going to give you some breaking news right here. I'm going to give you 2 minutes about me talking about my defensive.
We gonna record this now.
Yes.
Like I hear y'all talk about all this pressing and all this kind of stuff, you know, with kids, with my philosophy, man, we do, everything's about accountability. And so we do a version of the pack line. And I don't like it when my kids are always like, well, if I'm pressing, okay, well, whose coverage is that? Whose is that? Well, if I take this and who's got this? So we like to do a lot of, we do the pack line, something like what Hughey said, but not totally. We like to attack the gaps. We'll stab at you, and then we'll run back to our kid, and we'll run your 3-point line.
Yes.
We will make you put the ball on the floor and play the mid-range game. All right. So, you know, we like to come with the weak side help and make you finish over top of us. And then now we're boxing out. And our teams are pretty good defensively. My teams, if you look at my teams, we are always at the bottom of the category of steals every year. And I'm okay with it because we're always one of the better defensive rebounding teams. Yeah. You know, so you kind of pick your poison, and it kind of goes with the kind of kids that we recruit. You know, we talked about skill a lot. We talked about shooters. I want to make sure I got shooters out there. And sometimes what you give up is their ability to play one-on-one defense. And, you know, some of them shooters, they can't play one-on-one defense. So we make sure we do a lot of helping, attacking the gaps, running back, straight line, run them off the line, 3-point line, and we know where our help is coming from. And when you watch my kids play one-on-one, it's ugly. It's ugly. They can't guard each other. They can't guard each other one-on-one. But you watch them in a team setting, they're much better because they have accountability.
Nice.
That's my defense. That's my defense for the day.
And you know, we're the total opposite of Kenny. You're going to see us with, you know, forced turnovers and a lot of steals, and we talk about dictating what the offense does. You know, taking away those passes line on the line, up the line like Hughey. But then I think our biggest thing that our kids buy into is our help. You know what I'm saying? We really load up on the ball. The bad thing about it, 3-point shooting teams do hurt us. They do hurt us. 3-point shooting teams will hurt us. And then, you know, I think it's universal with what Hughey said. You got to be able to guard the ball. I have not seen a great defensive team yet that did not have one or two people that can guard their ball and set the tone. Yeah. Especially, you know, for us, like we're, you know, we want to go, you know, full court, you know, man to man. You know, we want to contain. We talk to our kids about like the shot clock dictating what offenses the team run. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to guard certain sets, and this is what we tell our kids when we're going through sets.
Yep.
Make them milk that clock, and I guarantee they're going to call something with an on ball or maybe one stagger once they cross half court to get a shot off. Like you don't want to work for that long. You don't, you know. And then obviously, as Kenny talked about, the rebounding piece, you know, is so huge. You know what I'm saying? With great defensive teams, you can't be a great defensive team if you're not filling the deal with the possession. You know what I'm saying?
No question. And then to piggyback on that a little bit, you have to practice that, especially if you're spread a little bit defensively because you're trying to deny. You got to really practice because some loose balls and some shots gonna go up that are out of control, and it may not land in a rebounding area that's right for you. So you have to really practice that, really work on boxing out, really working on making sure we hit and go get that ball. I know we work on that a lot. And to go on a little bit on what Coach Six said, our conference is all over the place, right? You got Liberty who gonna sit in the paint and they gonna just sit in the paint and be big. They got these big old people. They just gonna sit in the paint and be big and wait on you to make shots, right? Then you got Florida Gulf Coast who will adjust, and they'll do a little bit of both. They'll deny some. They'll deny your best players and won't guard two people. You know what I mean? And you'll have, you know, you got Kennesaw State. She'll throw all kind of junk defenses. You're gonna see triangle and two, boxing ones, everything. So you just got to be. I think us defensively, depending upon who we're guarding, we start off being a deny. We up the line. We like to take stuff away and because athletic, and we want to make sure we have opportunities to get out in transition and give us extra possessions. But when a team can like go downhill and drive and we in foul trouble, we gonna have to do something else because I can't send them to the free throw line all night. You know what I mean? So we go into that a little bit too. So
you know, one of the things that I try to do is this: if you go back and you watch the tape. If you all go back and watch the tape of when somebody gets beat off the dribble, go back and watch what that person does. A lot of times that person take a break. That person is,
no question.
We don't do that. So we practice that. We got a drill where it's like an orchestration of things that might happen. So we put the defensive player in harm's way right away by putting them beside the ball handler.
Okay.
Ball handler got to try to get to the basket. All right. Now you're going to orchestrate all your movements because it's not if you get beat off the dribble, it's when you get beat off the dribble. All right. So what we try to do in our orchestration is we try to all speak the same language. When this player gets beat, how we going to rotate? How we going to do that? Because it's going to happen. And we do it from the side, and we do it from the middle. We do it from the baseline. You know, and you can't reinvent the wheel. That's about all the places the player going to get beat off the dribble. And what we try to do is, and the hardest thing is what Hughey said, when kids first come in, they don't want to trust the force. They don't want to listen to your system. They want to do it how what's comfortable to them. And you got to constantly say, listen, let go of what you learned. I'm not saying what you learned was wrong. We just all need to speak the same language. So this is how we're going to do it. If this happens, we're going to rotate this way. This happens, we're going to rotate this way. And when you do that, and you'll see us before a game, we'll come out and we'll do defensive rotation because that's the last thing I want my kids to remember before they play. I don't want them to remember they making a layup or making a three. I want you to remember we got to stop these other people.
I love it. T-Rob, schools are starting back, man. I know Hampton, you guys' first day of school was yesterday or Monday?
Monday.
Monday. I know our levels of communication amongst our players, I know they're going to have to be heightened. Reason being, there's a lot of different things and there's going to be some changes that go on, and these kids are going to have to constantly look at their emails and see what changes have been done, and talk about what that means for your group in the COVID-19 era, and how important communication is going to have to be for you guys.
You know, well, like in the last show, I talked about the advantage of those that were, you know, able to have their kids on campus. You know, it's kind of a fresh run with no one on campus and just kind of getting acclimated to how we're going to operate when we add people like this week. Like we've been using, you know, the group me and like you said, the emails, and we have Zoom sessions and all that stuff. But now that you're adding people, now the biggest thing is the safety piece. You know what I'm saying? Wearing your mask, you know, not going and, you know, in big gatherings and so on and so forth. As we finished every workout this week, as we close our week of summer and get ready to transition into the school year, that has been my approach and talk to them, you know, because right now, this week our freshmen have come back, you know, and they're excited. You know, them and their parents probably ready to get their butts here. And I'm seeing kids walking around with no mask on, and I'm like, man, I'll send a message. Y'all better have y'all mask on. We can't have 5 great weeks with no incidents. And then when school starts back, because now, you know, if we have a season, it really hurts you now if you're missing people, especially based on how we're going to have to operate, you know, during this pandemic, you know, but it's constant communicating with them of the things to do. And, you know, and even like something I was just talking to Coach Earp about, even eating off campus. Like, I can't even understand why you would want to go someplace to eat off campus. I'm like, yo, get that stuff to go. You know, because that's what I'm doing in my household. I'm not, right. You know, and I want to share with them, this is how I'm operating, you know, for the safety of obviously my family. And we are a family. You got to do the same thing. And it's just reminding them, because they don't get it like we get it. They don't understand the impact and all the things that are going on. You have to constantly remind them. My staff has been great about that too. And I'm just excited that we've had a great 5 weeks with no incidents. And I'm using it as a positive to transition into school, which starts, you know, next week. We've given them a couple of days, and, you know, hopefully they'll come back and continue to be disciplined and focused the way they have this summer.
Nice. Coach Hughey.
Yeah, the same for us. That what we've done, we got teamworks now.
Okay.
So it's been tremendous for us, you know, go right to the phones and all that kind of stuff. But the problem we've had with it before is, you know, the kids turn the little chime off or the little alert off, you know, because it's stuff coming through all the time. Mm-hmm. So we made sure that we ensure that you can't turn it off now. The other thing is, Terrell, we've taken hours, and you can't go into place and eat. It's a rule. You got to go get it to go. Mm-hmm. We also gave them curfew all summer. So it was 9:30. You know, you can go whatever it is to do what it is, have your mask on, you know, that kind of stuff. But it's curfew, and it's going to be that way.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Hughey, I really hope that my players are watching this, because our curfew was 10, and they thought I was just the worst coach ever. At Houston, the University of Houston, 30 minutes less.
and it was easy for them because, you know, we were one of the hot spots.
Right.
And so we had the parents. And they was backing us.
Is that 9:30 Eastern time?
We're Central out here.
Coach Six, what you got, man? How you gonna communicate with your group?
We have Teamworks.
Okay.
We have Zoom. We're in the process right now of trying to create. Well, I'm in the process of I'm watching what has been successful professionally,
okay,
and what hasn't been successful professionally, and I'm in the process of crafting a like bubble type thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know we don't have NBA money, so we can't go to Disneyland and right. put all our kids in Disneyland. Right. But I'm with Coach Rob and Hughey in terms of, you know, you got to have a curfew. Mm-hmm. You got to have some rules on what you can do, because you expose everybody.
Yes.
you know, you don't know what that next person to you is doing. And I went to a restaurant to go several weeks ago, and the cooks didn't have on masks. I said, "Oh, no, I'm good, man. I'm good. I see what practice y'all. I see how y'all practicing."
Yeah.
You got to make sure that your kids are in and that they understand. The biggest thing is, obviously, all of us know that the easiest way for us to do it is for them to police themselves.
Yes.
If you don't want to get the COVID virus, police your teammate. You know, this ain't no stitch thing. This is a death thing. So, you know, that's what we're doing right now. We're in the infancy stages of crafting something.
Got you. Coach Brooks?
Like Coach Six said, we put the onus on our kids. This is probably the one time in my career that being in a rural Southwest Virginia area is a benefit and a plus for us, because the cases are extremely low in my area. We're, you know, but this is the one time where, you know, location benefits us. So we don't have to put a curfew on our kids because there's a whole lot going on. You know, kids aren't on campus. But I think that putting the onus on our kids has really been a plus for us, because my kids are scared to get it. You know, they're not like, you know, a lot of the population their age that just going out to parties, or, you know, they take it serious. They take it very serious, and they go out and they do a lot of things together. You know, obviously kind of creating that bubble, but they'll kind of cook, eat at each other's homes instead of kind of going out and doing a lot of crazy things. And we do have other sports here. Football obviously is really big here at Virginia Tech. Men's basketball programs here. So they do have some sort of interaction with other sports programs, and we can't sit here and fool ourselves and say that they're not. Right. You know, but we have to just make sure that our kids are very conscious. And I kind of overheard them a few times where there may have been a party somewhere somehow, and they were all making sure in a group text, stay away from the party, don't go there, you guys make sure, because they love the different stages that we've been able to get to here as a team. They love that we started from one point, we got to get to stage 2 and do something different. They kind of celebrate that, you know, and they don't want to go backwards. So they kind of police themselves. And that's like what Six said, when you can get your group to police themselves, they're disciplined. Not only is it helping you right now, but it's also going to help you, like you said, if we have this season, that they're going to hold each other accountable, and that stuff will translate on the court.
Right. And you know what, man, you know, like I'm sure we've all talked to, you know, different people reaching out to you, asking you what you're doing and yada, yada, yada. And there is no quick fix answer, but what Kenny and Coach Six just said is the bottom line. Like, you have to hold yourselves accountable, and we have to hold each other accountable if you want to have a season, if we have one, you know. So there's no, you know, one place doing it better than others. It's just the bottom line, who's being held accountable and who's holding each other accountable.
And who's being responsible.
Absolutely.
To take care of business like business needs to be taken care of. I think that's extremely important. I think there's times where our kids were here this summer, and, you know, I would get a call. So like every time a kid leaves 30 miles or so off campus in our program, they have to just give me a shout and just let me know. Like before COVID, you know, they may want to go to Orlando and go to, you know, Islands of Adventure or something like that. They might want to do something in the summertime, right? And one of our kids asked if she could go somewhere with some family that was far away. And I'm like, right now, no, because you're putting us in danger. You know what I mean? And I think it's tough on them knowing that they're in the bubble, just like it's tough on the pro players right now. We see that the football player just got caught up in a situation, right? And got cut because he put, you know, the team in danger. So it's important that we're just responsible, and we understand that it's tough, but at the same time, we have to not put anybody else in danger, and we have to make sure that we're being responsible enough to police ourselves and hold each other accountable as a program.
That football player got to understand it truly is the kiss of death now. You know, you know what I mean?
No doubt. Coach Brooks, I was on the phone with Coach Six the other day, and we were talking about the continued uptick of the amount of ACL injuries that are happening in our game. And Coach Six spoke a lot about our, our young women and really just in general in the game of basketball, the lack of preparedness for a season, for high level of play. Talk a little bit about your thoughts on the uptick of injuries, because you've been in the game a little while, right? And I don't know if is it an uptick or is it just more visible now?
I think it's probably more visible. Six and I have been in this thing for a long time, and it was injuries back then too.
Okay.
I don't think any of us have ever endured, a long stretch of time where we haven't had someone get injured.
Mm-hmm.
You watch them. As a matter of fact, I'm scared as hell of the injuries. It's actually changed the way I coach. We'll be in practice, and I got to whistle. And if I see those kids about to have a collision, I will blow the whistle. And I don't do this. I think the women's game too is a little bit different. Women are very aggressive, and they will go after the ball, and they want to get it no matter what. So they dive a lot. They dive, and a lot of times they'll dive at each other's knees. And so we try to take precaution against that as well. We have a rule in practice where we say no diving on the floor. I'll have my kids, and if they're trained, they're aggressive, but when it comes to that point where they're going to dive, they just scream it out, dive, and I'll give them that possession, so that they don't like just run at each other's knees, because they're just so competitive and trying to get it. But it is something, man. We got it. I know we've done studies about it. It seems to be a little bit more prominent on the women's side when you talk about ACLs as compared to the men's side. Mm-hmm. And you don't know if it is the lack of being prepared enough, because when they do come to us, it's a different ball game. They high school, they got a couple months and they play. Well, with us, we got the longest season out of anyone. It's like 6 months. Yep. We got a long season. So, sometimes their bodies break down a little bit differently. They get a little fatigued, and we always know that when they get a little fatigued, that's when injuries can happen a lot of times. But it's just something that I don't know how, with all the strength and conditioning, with all the training that goes on, it definitely takes a toll on their bodies. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty more studies out there, but we try to do as much as we can to be prepared for them. I've gotten to the point where, you see y'all making fun of me and all this gray right here, but all this gray has taught me that sometimes the best way to approach something is like maybe give them a day off. Sometimes they go into practice and, you want to go hard because you got to get after this, you got to do this. Sometimes letting their bodies rest, is the best medicine that I've seen, So we kind of treat them. If I got an older kid, I might sit them a day in practice just for, whatever, just to give them some rest so that they're always prepared and ready and fresh as much as possible. But it's something that's definitely, taking a toll on our sport. You look at the WNBA bubble. Every time you try to turn on a game, one of the superstars is not playing, or for whatever reason. So it's definitely something that's impacting our sport.
I think I was talking to my staff the other day, and we were talking about how just the constant pounding from when they start training. Some of these kids start 5, 6 years old, and it's AAU summer, it's rec league in the fall, and you're doing this all the way up until now you're 21, 22 years old, right? And it's just been constant, right? And you never got a break for 15 years or so, right? And I think the pandemic, I think it might have been really good for their bodies, to give their bodies a chance to rest a little bit. So, but like you said, Coach Brooks, I think all of us have had our instances where you just don't know how it or why, and it just happens. And a lot of times, sometimes it just happens, nobody's around. You know what I mean? So like you just don't know. But Coach Hughey, how do you approach? Did it change how you coached a little bit at all?
It haven't, and I probably need a little bit more grade so I can be able to get there. But we do a a tremendous job in the weight room with a lot of prehab stuff, man. I mean, joints and everything. I had a rule when I got here. I wanted to be everything, wanted to be snap and go, go, go. So I didn't want them in the weight room 45 minutes trying to do all that. So my strength coach, Bree, came in and said, Coach, the first 10 minutes, we just try to take care joints, shoulders, knees, elbows, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, how long that take? Because I need them going. I need them thinking fast, moving fast, understand everything is fast. That's why we do 4-minute drills, because I need them to go. And she was like, well, Coach, there's some things, especially on a woman, that need to be taken care of with a little bit of being delicate. And I got it from there. Mm-hmm. So she take those first 15 and she go through all that little stuff with them, and then they jump into it. And we've been fortunate in my 6 years just to have one ACL.
Awesome.
And knock on some wood, man. But yeah, that's what we've had. But I've known some people around us that have had more, and I wish, more was dedicated to finding out, why it's happening, especially on the women's side, more frequently than on the men's side. But yeah, we try to do all the little extra stuff. We even started stretching after practice, where I was, all right, you got to make 53s and 75 free throws. Now we're taking that extra 20 minutes, circle them up, and we're doing the stretches and that kind of stuff. So, like Kenny said, just to be able to bring them down some to where I don't have to give them that day off, but we'll take, the first 15 at the beginning of practice and the next 20 at the end of practice to try to help them with that part of it.
So it has made you adjust a little bit, right? And not in as far as on the floor game or practice coaching, but how you approach your group. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a little bit, but I still want to do like Coach Sampson. His first 2 drills every year is the first one, you line them up on the baseline, give me 2 out, we roll the ball, and they going to dive and hit, and I'd be like, Coach, they're gonna get hurt, and they're gonna get the separated shoulders and all that, and you're like, yep, and they'll heal. They do that one, and they do they put the rebounding bubble up, man, and you got to get your 3 to get out, and he don't care how it looks, but he start every year just like that. And, they've won the championship the last 2 years, and you got the toughest teams in the conference and, all of that. But I was like, those are guys. And I wish we could do that, but we can't, man.
Coach Rob, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, man, I've had, in my 8 years in leadership here, we've had 3, and all of them were kind of like, how did that happen? You know what I'm saying? It happened during the games. Like, women in general, or you have women that are just as athletic as men, but for whatever reason, their body can't take that impact, right? I had to learn the hard way. I used to be known, guys. I used to be known for long practices. Used to be, right? We used to, in the MEAC, and Six knows this, you play on Saturday, then you turn around and play on Monday. Y'all think we did a walkthrough on Sunday? No, we got after it on Sunday, and I lost a lot of them damn Monday games, particularly to Hampton. But anyways, I just, I had to learn that what Kenny talked about, you've got to save their bodies. You got to recognize that, from your best player to someone, who played a lot of major minutes, like you might need to give them a day. Like they may not need to do what this person that didn't play a lot of minutes prior to. Like you have to, if you want to win the game and you want them to be at their best, you got to pay attention to that. And that is something, that I learned. Because there were a lot of times we lost games where they just ran out of gas, or they got off to a bad start because they was already out of gas. And I take onus to that, and I had to make adjustments. But, just for our level, I'm going to use post players as an example. We recruit kids, you bring kids in, and they're great athletes, but they don't know how to jump. They don't know how to land. They don't, you know what I'm saying? And you end up having to teach in order to help them, teach them these things. We have 2 kids right now, and I say they have post player syndrome. They won't bend their knees. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You got to get low. You got to bend your knees if you want to be able, especially defending man to man. If you want to move how I need you to move, you got to be in an athletic stance. And for whatever reason, taller women, in my experience, they don't want to bend their knees. And if you short doing that, you're probably not being recruited. But taller women definitely have, that tendency to stand straight up, which obviously sets them up for, I think who was talking about, when they're diving for loose balls, and they'll dive on each other. That straight-legged person just got an ACL because they was in that relaxed state. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, you have to, like Kenny talks about, I'll address that. If I see it, hey, damn it, bend your knees, before you hurt yourself. And they just, what, coach? I'm just standing here. Exactly. You're on the court. Right. Be ready, be in a ready position, so, yeah, it is. I've had 3 and they were literally just, I remember a kid just took a cut. Knee just, went in. Another young lady was reaching for a loose ball. Another lady was doing a step back dribble, and we lost them both, for the season. And, that just doesn't happen all the time with guys, and I just think it's their, anatomical makeup. They're just as explosive, but their bodies can't take it.
Got you. Now, Coach Six, in our conversation, man, I thought your take on this was very interesting, man. And I want you to, if you can, speak on that a little bit and what your thoughts are on this.
I was going to say I would give you a different perspective because I was a long-time high school coach. Mm-hmm. And when I was in high school, I rarely had anybody injured. I think I had 1 ACL the whole time, or maybe 2 the whole time I was coaching in high school. One of the things is when you're a high school coach, you can kind of control what they're doing. So in my program in high school, we would take several weeks break or whatever, but I was able to more or less force the kids to take care of their body when we're not practicing. In the pros, guys, even when they're not out, when they're out of season, they're still taking care of their body because they know their body is their moneymaker. Mm-hmm. What I told Coach Haney was this: in college, when kids come, they have different interests. You can only work out a certain amount of hours. And the biggest thing is this, and I think Candy said about holding people accountable. You have to take care of your body. So when you go home, you can't not do anything. And you got a lot of kids like that. So when you come back and you start up, it's a shock to their bodies. Mm-hmm. It's a shock to their bodies. When I'm working some kids out sometimes, I say, post plays, I say, the reason you can't get this is not because of your skill. It's because of your conditioning. Mm. It's because of your conditioning, and I told Coach the other night, I ask kids all the time, what country has the best female basketball players in the world? They say United States. I said, where do they pool their talent from? They said, well, for the WNBA. And I said, where does the WNBA pool their talent from? They say college. I said, so the United States is the best female players in the world. That's like going in the ring with the heavyweight champion of the world and not training. You got to train. So you got to take care of your body, even when, don't get me wrong, you need recovery days just like anybody else. But you can't go home and not do anything. You don't have to play basketball. You don't have to, but you have to maintain some sort of conditioning if you plan to be successful with college athletics. And I just believe that. And like I said, when I was in high school, I was able to control that. Much more than I can now. We can't follow our kids around 24 hours a day, but I'm telling you, you have to employ your kids to take care of themselves. Mm-hmm. I get calls, she didn't come to treatment. You're telling me you hurting, but you missed treatment. Right. No, what are you talking about? That's what it is. So they've got to be able to be accountable and take care of themselves as well.
No doubt. I agree wholeheartedly, man. Coach Hughey, you just recently had a wedding anniversary, man. Happy anniversary to you and Shay, man. That's awesome. Last podcast, you talked a great deal about sacrifice on your end, right? Talk a little bit about, what other people don't know is it's a great deal of sacrifice on us and our players, but it's also a great deal of sacrifice on our families, right? And our families have to make some sacrifice. Talk a little bit about how you guys manage that sacrifice.
Man, man, I'm lucky, man. I'm telling you, man. This is my third marriage, bro, and the reason why I said I'm lucky because I have someone who it's like when I grew up with my grandma. My grandma already said, on Sunday, I'm gonna get you for the old and the new. Cause I'm gonna cut your butt because you're gonna screw up during the week. And it's the same thing with my wife right now. You just get ready because you're gonna screw something up, and I'm gonna be there for you on the back end of it. And that's the way she is, man.
So
That's why, for those anniversaries and birthdays and all that kind of stuff, man, I try to go all out. I mean, just to show total appreciation for that because, during the pandemic, I was up till 3 a.m. almost every night doing basketball.
mm-hmm.
And she was like constantly, you got to come this and all this, but again, she allowed me to be able to do some of those things because on the back end, when she say, okay, now it's time for us to do family vacation, we got to go do pictures, we got to go, you got to be, it's donuts and dads day at the daycare with Hunter, and you got to be, and I'm there because she give me all the other space for me to be able to do the things that I want to do. And that's why I say I'm lucky, man. I looked up, y'all. I ain't gonna tell you no lie, because like I said, I done screwed a bunch of them up. She is like,
dope.
bro, I can't even say nothing else, man.
That's dope, man. That's dope.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize, like it's a lot of time that goes into this job on our end, right? And man, I can say the same about my wife, man. She's awesome. Like, I got kids. I might not be able to make my daughter's volleyball game because we out of town, and she's right there. So like, I'm blessed as well with my wife. Talk a little bit about Coach Six. I got to come back to you on this. You ready for this?
Yeah.
All right, now listen. Everybody that comes on the show, man, we always talk about the first baptism that we received, right? And Coach Brooks talked about quick math when the score start running up and you don't know what to do and you looking to find out what quarter it is. And I was talking about Kennedy Carter and how she would catch an alley oops and they rebounding, and Coach Rob talked about how he felt like it was the worst decision in the world to bring UCLA to his gym, right? And Coach Hughey talked about just a nightmare where he couldn't go to sleep. He would pace up all night. Talk to us about that first time you got baptized and who it was or the situation it was.
Look, I've been baptized so many times. I feel like I'm wet right now. Yeah, but I'm not gonna tell you about the first one, but I'm gonna tell you about one that is seared in my brain. We were playing. Anybody who's played at Duke know that that's a church, that's a cathedral. That's what that is. So we playing Duke in the NCAA tournament, and I really believe I got a chance. So I'm in there, and the first thing was I can't remember the girl's name, big girl. The Perry girl I had Kenny with. She's about 5'10", 5'9", but that was my center. So the big girl from, I think her name is Black, from Duke. Okay. She posts up, throws my kid down. Foul on my kid.
What?
Come down again. My kid is on her. Boom, throw it down. Right. Foul on my kid. So the referees going guy. If you in the Big East, I can't remember the guy's name. He's always combing his hair back. So he's running by, and I'm saying, Mr. Ref, he walks up to me and said, first of all, do you know we on TV? Put your hands down. That's first. He said, put your hands down, because I don't want nobody to see you trying to talk to me crazy. Then he said, well, now what you want to say? I said, Mr. Ref, she couldn't throw it down if she wanted to. He said, that's what you got to say to me? He said, I ain't listen to that shit. And ran down the court. And he didn't acknowledge another thing. So we get beat bad. It looked like a pinball game in there. They killed me so bad. So my kid, Rob, you may remember Nicole Hamilton.
Yes.
He could play. When she twists her ankle. So I got to put somebody in. You know that look when you got to look down the bench. You don't know who to put in. But this time, y'all, I lied to you not. They killing us. I look down the bench. The kids did like this. They looked away from me. I don't know who he's looking at, but he ain't looking at me. I don't know who he's looking at, but he better not be looking. Look at all those banners.
Oh.
I tell that story now. I look down, they all said, man, you on your own. You better put yourself in. Yeah, but that was I remember that. I couldn't do nothing. I mean, they running the same play. They just killing us.
Oh, my goodness.
That's funny, man. That's funny. Coach Rob. All right.
What's up, man?
For you, man. Up 3, 11 seconds left. Their ball. You fouling or you playing it out?
Give that to me one more time so I can think.
All right. Up 3. You up 3. Okay.
Okay, I'm up.
It's 11 seconds left in the game. They taking it out. Let's say the ball got tipped out of bounds, so you can't advance it. They can't advance it. They got to take it out full court.
You ain't even got to answer it no more, man. You ain't got to say it no more. I trust my defense. We good. We good. We going.
Oh,
I
man.
got a story for you, Rob.
We always guard. We always guard. Don't give me none of that situation stuff.
What you got, Coach Brooks? What you got?
Hey, man, we have tried to practice the fouling part.
It ain't go well.
It never works. Sometimes they just don't understand what you're doing and why you're doing it and when you do it.
Yeah.
And like they'll foul while the kids shoot the three. I'm like, I looked at my assistant. I said, "See, that's why we're not doing it. We're gonna play it out."
Yeah.
Play it out.
Right.
Coach 6.
Yeah, I used to tell this kid, Brielle Ward, on pick and rolls, you got to show. Don't drop off. You ain't Shaq. You got to play the pick and roll. You remember this, Rob? We playing Maryland Eastern Shore in the MEAC tournament.
Yeah.
All we got to do is foul, and we win. Right? That came back to home. Girl screams a girl. That kid jumped off. This kid threw a miracle thing up. It went in. So I'm fouling. I'm telling you.
I love it. We gonna foul. We gonna foul. I said 10 seconds or less. I'm going 11 seconds left. We gonna foul. And until I get baptized with that one, we gonna go. Cause I don't need no and ones. I don't need none of that. We gonna foul. All right. Skill or talent. Here we go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Skill or talent. The ability to pass the basketball. What you got? What you got, Coach? 6 is
skill.
It's a skill. Okay.
Making plays is a talent.
Okay.
Passing the ball is a skill, because I got a lot of kids who I need to teach how to pass the ball.
Okay. Coach Brooks.
Man, I'm gonna say the ability to pass the ball. Now, you got to clarify.
All right, let's
right.
Just like, hey, or you
I ain't talking about making it. I'm talking about like those passes that get it to your shooters in the right spot, that it ain't all over the place, and they knowing how to, like Coach Six said a little bit, make a play, so to speak, and it ain't just like a regular pass that anybody could make. I'm talking about those kids that can actually like you say that kid can pass that ball?
That's the talent. I had Taj Cole this year, and the way she passed the ball was a talent. The way she passed, because she hit people where they needed to get it, when they needed to get it, and the way she was able to do it. It was something that I couldn't teach her. That was something that she had. So I say a talent for somebody like that.
No question. Coach Rob?
About to pull Kenny Brooks from a week or so ago. I think it's a skill that you teach, but some of them have the talent, right, Kenny? Some of them have the talent. See how I put that on? That can get it where it needs to go anywhere on the floor. And Kenny just had a great example with one who can flat out pass that ball.
Coach
Six
Hughey?
had one too. Six had one too back in the day. Think she's coaching now. Yeah.
She can pass that ball, huh? All right, Coach Hughey.
For me, it's a talent, and I'm gonna tell you that because Coach Stringer showed me some video on Tasha Pointer, because she said Tasha didn't pass the ball; she delivered the ball.
Wow.
So she gave me, when we went to watch games, so she said, "Look at that kid. Is she passing or is she delivering the ball?" By the time we got finished watching all the games, no kid in the gym delivered the ball. In her book, everybody was passing it. So you have to have talent to deliver the ball, from what she says, and what Tasha Pointer was doing at that time. They took them to the Final Four in Philadelphia. Talent.
Got it. Well, good. Well, all right, guys. We come up to the hour mark, man, and
Man, there you go again, man.
here we go. You got questions, boss? If anybody got any questions for anybody, we can address those. But I appreciate all of you guys for being on tonight, man. This is it's been really good. We've been able to I know it's helped me and kind of a therapy for me just to touch on some things and get with you guys about your thoughts on some things. And it's been helping, I've been getting texts, and it's been helping, younger coaches, high school coaches, college coaches, and everybody, man. So I appreciate you guys being on.
Hey, D, I tell you what too, man, like you look at all of us right here on this screen, and it's a collection of coaches that come from a lot of different backgrounds, man. I that old saying that, some of the best coaches are like high school level, it doesn't matter what level you're coaching at. And Six, to me, man, Six is that person, because I was a college coach, but me and Six used to, sit. He's like he said, he used to come to my camps, and me and him used to just sit for hours and talk. Six got me into 757, let me know what kids were what, helped me with my reputation. And then watching him get to the level of this, being a college coach, it's been a fun journey for me to watch. I look at you guys. I remember you called me when that job came open, when Yo took the Ole Miss job. You were like debating. I was like, boy, you better go for that thing, man. We don't get these opportunities like a whole lot. You gotta take it.
Absolutely true.
I watch Hughey. I watch T-Raw. I couldn't wait till Terrell got the hell out of the CAA, because he was doing such a great job, man. Such a great job. But I tell you what, man, a lot of people have been hitting me up about this podcast. A lot of aspiring coaches, and they can look across the board. We all have different journeys. All have different journeys, and we've got opportunities, and a lot of wins on this board right here, right now, too, man.
Absolutely.
So we're doing a lot of wonderful things. I'm proud of you guys, and we got to keep it going. Stay strong. This is something that we got to continue to build, man. We are a breed that we need to take care of each other. We got to take care of each other.
Hey, and I want to piggyback on what Kenny just said about us having different backgrounds and different philosophies. And our position as leaders is convincing people that our way is the right way, even when we fall short. And that's a talent. My message in IG, Haney to Coach Yo, it's a talent, because we got to figure out when we lose that game, when we get baptized and we walk in that locker room, I got to convince them to show up and bust their ass tomorrow and do the exact same thing that we didn't do, today, and so to piggyback on Kenny, that's really what it's about. you know, being able to lead despite the adversity and so on and so forth. This is great, man. You got 4 of my most favorite people in this business, man, right here. And I look forward to it. It's raining cats and dogs out there. My wife was telling me don't go out. Oh no, I'm about to get to my office because I'm not letting the guys down, you know, so I really appreciate this. 6, you know it, man. We chop it up, man. Tremendous amount of respect for you. You set the standard, man. You set the standard, and I tried to follow. I'm glad I'm following you into the Big South, but I'm not excited about.
I'm not glad about that.
Look. I've never beat 6 in the regular season. You know, they be talking about them tournament games. I'm like, shit, that's a flip of a coin. You know what I'm saying? He just talked about a kid hitting a 3 to put him out. You know, but just tremendous amount of respect, 6, and good to see you, man. And best of luck with your kids as you transition to having them on campus.
Appreciate it.
No doubt.
I'm telling y'all right now, I'm watching on Synergy, and I'm writing my notes down, man. So we got to get a Zoom, man, because I got questions. Because, again, Kenny, with the things you do offensive and tweaking stuff, now I'm defensively with my system, how we're not going to let you reverse the ball, but then you tweaking it to where, okay, we thinking you're going to reverse it, but you're coming back same side. I want to play the chess match. You know, that kind of stuff. I want to be able just to go through on a Zoom because I'm watching y'all and I'm jotting down different things from all of that. Because, again, at the end of the day, if we can all, like we're doing right now, help each other get better across the board, man, because I want it all, man. You know, like I told Gino, you know, man, there's going to come a time when you're going to come up in the gym, boy, and I'm going to take this damn hand and going to be you know, and he always laughed about that all the time. But like I told him, I really believe that.
Yep.
Like my high school coach made me go coach middle school because of people like 6.
Yep.
Coach middle school for 3 years. You ain't ready for high school. Then when I came to be his high school assistant, told me you can't say nothing because you don't know nothing. The only thing you can do is take stats and you can coach in practice, but you can't say nothing in the game. Best thing that ever happened to me because I learned to see the game.
Yep.
But it's that, man. So I want to get on Zoom with y'all, man, at some point, and D could be able to do that. And we can just talk about different things like that because I know what's his name at Louisville. What's the boy name? Y'all know his name.
Yeah, Sam.
Huh?
The women's side?
Yeah.
Walls.
Jeff Walls. What's his name at New Mexico? McGuff. All of them get together all the time, and they always talk about it all the time. And we get together, and we X and O this, and we do this, and all that kind of stuff. And we needed to create something just like this to where it's a yearly thing or something like that, man.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, they tried to invite me into that, and I felt a little something with that, man. I'm like, I'd like to have that with mine.
That's a great idea. You know what we can do? Let's look at, if you can have your video guy put some clips together, right? And it don't have to even be our stuff if y'all don't want it to be. It could be maybe some WNBA stuff or some stuff like that you want to look at, or each person gets some clips of their own stuff defensively or offensively, and then we just go through it. I think that'll be really good. You know, like
I agree.
That'll be awesome because it gives us it'll give us a look at how, you know, we see the game. You know what I mean? And it'll give we want our youth coaches to help prepare these young women for college, right? And help prepare them. Well, what better way to do it than put it out there and show them how we thinking and what we want and what we don't want, you know, because we're gonna see a lot of what we don't want on that film too, right? So I think that'll be awesome, man. If you guys maybe like next week, if you guys put 2 or 3 clips together a piece, and you guys got any questions on it, that'll be awesome, man. If you want to do that.
Now, is it our stuff or each other's stuff?
Let's do.
It don't really matter.
What you think, Hughey?
I want my stuff, man. I can't like NBA and WNBA.
Well, let's do our stuff then.
Yeah, and y'all can do what y'all want because I got my first 6'5" that I got a chance to, and she can play.
Mm-hmm.
So when I watch T, and his post players are beasts down there, you know, all that kind of stuff. But now I'm trying to see how I can position her to be able to do that kind of stuff. to be aggressive down there without getting a foul. And then I'm looking at Kenny's stuff where how he got his running in transition and getting there and all that kind of stuff, you know. Then when I start looking at Six stuff, when how they get after the ball and press and rotate and all that kind of stuff, because I preach to my kids, I don't want you in rotation. I know it's gonna happen, but I'm beating them in. But Six gave me a great idea. That's why I jotted it down right here real quick. Why not practice that thing when they get beat? Because that's like, for me, I was like, you get beat.
Hey, Hughey, you got to make sure you tell them exactly what you want, because we used to do that same drill, and I didn't tell my kids as well as Six told his kids.
Yeah.
So we had our kids, you know, they were getting beat, and we had the rotations and whatever. We're in a game, and one of my girls looked at me. She said, "Coach, we playing that defense where we let the kids go by." I didn't teach it as well as Six did. So
Oh my God.
I was like, oh Lord.
Man,
Be careful.
let's do that.
Yes,
Let's do
man.
that. Right now, Coach, I know Coach Hughey, I know you got a bunch of clips you want to go over. So let's do it. Let's do this.
I'm telling you, man.
Let's do each one of us bring 2 defensive and 2 offensive clips.
Yeah.
Right? And then we'll break it down. We'll just have like we'll have a breakdown session, man. That'll be dope.
Let me just say this real quick. It was an honor to chop it up with y'all or whatever, and I would tell you that you know, I used to see Kenny when I was in high school, and I used to say I want to do that. You know, when he was at JMU, and you know, so as Rob said, he motivated me.
Yes.
To want to do something else. You know, not only was he at JM, you know, because you could just be out of school. He wasn't just out of school; he was winning.
Yes.
You know, and that was the difference. And I loved coaching against Rob, because it was like a heavyweight fight. If I win, it ain't gonna be by 4 or 5. If he win, it ain't gonna be by 4 or 5. It's gonna come down to the end or whatever. I lost to Rob in the MEAC championship. I think I was down by about 7. We came back, and I got a shot to win it in regulation, and the girl and my best shooter, she just missed. You know, so
wide open,
my thing was it just wasn't meant to be. But Hughey, I think you do a fantastic job. I watch you on TV all the time, and I was so proud when you got the job there, because Coach Haney, when we were recruiting, we would always talk or whatever. So I definitely think we need to do some more stuff like this. And Rob, I would just tell you this. Before the game, I can't talk to nobody, because I couldn't talk to Kenny either, because I knew I had to think.
Yeah.
And you come talk about something, might get me off my game or whatever. I might forget about it or whatever. So look, I'm talking to you after.
Yeah.
Hey, ask Siobhan. I'm like, oh, he think his shit don't stink.
No, you know, Beasley you know what Beasley used to say to me all the time? He used to say, "I'm gonna make you talk to me. I don't care." He used to grab my shirt. "I'm gonna make you talk to me."
Man, listen, I appreciate each one of you guys. And as I was coming up in this thing, man, before I got this job, when I was a high school coach, man, I used to look at each one of you guys, and I would be, you know, when you were assistants, I would be in awe, right? I used to study you guys, and not just basketball, right? I studied you guys on what type of men you were, right? And how you guys impacted the game and impacted the young women in your programs. And I want to commend each one of you guys for that, because you guys just do an awesome job, man. And continue to do what you guys are doing for this game. Continue to do what you're doing for your families and these young women, man. And we're going to keep pressing, boss. We're going to keep pressing, and we're going to keep getting better and keep growing. And more and more of us need to be in situations to where we're representing our programs, our families, and us the best way we can. So signing off, guys. If y'all need anything, as always, just give me a shout. Y'all be good.
You know it.
All right, Dave.
Good one, fellas.
All right, brother.
Right.